This episode had something for fans of the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy. This was awesome. All right, so let's talk about it. This is chapter 23 of The Mandalorian. All right, this one is called The Spies. I am Keith.
No, you're not.
I am Kerwin.
Don't assume my identity on the internet.
I'm Keith. This is Kerwin. This is Father Son Galaxy. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, we really appreciate it. Like this video. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, please, to our channel. You will not be disappointed. If you are a long-time viewer of our show and you're back, all right, wonderful. Let's talk about this. This is going to be a good episode.
We are on a race to 1K. And
yes, we are 1,000.
Everyone who can help us, please do. It takes like 5 seconds to subscribe. And if you're unhappy with us, which I don't think you will be, you can unsubscribe it.
Yeah, we don't want to tell people to do that. But anyway, so yeah, we're doing good. We're getting there. We're getting close to 1,000.
Than to just stay subscribed.
All right. Okay, let's talk about it. All right, so this is The Spies. This was written by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. All right, co-written, directed by Rick Famuyiwa.
Yeah,
so we know that
he's directed the last two. We know it's going to be good.
That's exactly right. So this is a two-part. This is a to be continued. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to cover 3 storylines. All right, but feel free to, if you're listening, we can talk about anything else you want to talk about in the episode. But right now, we're going to cover three topics. So we're going to start with that meeting at the beginning, the Shadow Council. All right. I love, these secret meetings, the Imperial meetings is very interesting. Why? Well, I just
it's kind of reminiscent of that scene in the Avengers where Nick Fury talking to the council.
Well, I mean, because they're talking of secrets, there are things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. It sounds
you like being filled in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially from the Imperials, they always got something cooking. All right. Okay. So let's talk about who attended this meeting. So, so let's talk about Moff Gideon. He had a conversation with Kane. Kane informed him that Din Djarin's clan and Bo-Katan's group,
Children of the Watch,
they are all combined and are working together.
They're sworn enemies.
He's shocked that they're working together. So now he considers them a threat. So he goes to the meeting. We see many people. We don't know the names of all of the members of this shadow council, but we do know 2 people. One, Captain Gilad Pellaeon. All right. Captain Gilad Pellaeon was actually a character that was introduced in the Timothy Zahn novel, Heir to the Empire. All right. He is Grand Admiral Thrawn's right-hand man, basically, right? So
that's why he kept being like, when Thrawn will once again return.
Yeah.
My bro.
Yeah.
He got sent off into hyperspace like 15 years ago.
Yes. So he's a commanding officer.
Are y'all still on this?
He's a commanding officer of one of the.
I mean, we know he's gonna come back. Come on.
Star destroyers called the Harbinger. He's an ally of Thrawn, and he thinks that the Empire. The only way the Empire is going to reemerge, it relies on the return of Grand Moff Tarkin.
You mean Thrawn? Tarkin's vaporized.
You're right. You're right. Grand
Tarkin
Admiral
has joined Alderaan.
Yes, Grand Admiral Thrawn is. Nothing's going to happen. The Empire is not going to reemerge without Grand Admiral Thrawn. Okay.
You know the funny part?
Yeah.
If you notice, in the First Order, there's no mention of Thrawn, no sightings of Thrawn, no Thrawn whatsoever.
Okay. All right. So
something's got to happen.
Well,
that's my point.
Thrawn's name is being mentioned more often than not, right? So we could talk about what we think is going to happen in episode 8, chapter 24. But all right, for right now, so Pellaeon mentions Thrawn's name because he knows Thrawn very well. The Empire cannot function without him. He's the heir to the Empire, as we've already heard. The other person in this meeting is Brendol Hux. All right, General Brendol Hux.
Sound familiar?
Yes, the last name. So now let's talk a little bit about his backstory. So Brendol Hux was the commandant of the Empire, right? and he was the founder of this Arcanus Academy, and Arcanus Academy, and he was in charge of these commandant's cadets. Okay, and there are these kids, like they're young kids who are being trained to be loyal, stay loyal to the Empire. They're trained as soldiers.
Hux has his
yes,
the commandant or general.
Well, it says commandant. I guess he's now a general. Maybe he was promoted to a general, but he goes by General Brendol Hux now.
Okay.
But back then he was a commandant. Okay, right. And so he created this group called the Commandant Cadets. Like I said, they're young people who he handpicked to actually work as soldiers for the Empire. Now, when I heard this term, I saw the name Zer Leonis. Yep. And I recall years ago that you read a book. It was a junior novel you read about Zer. Can you tell us Zer's connection to the cadets?
So he was actually one of the cadets that was part of the Commandant's Cadets Project.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Right. Very good.
And he eventually defected and escaped with Ezra.
Right. Yeah. And then
I think. No, he stayed and then he defected later.
Now I know he was a spy for the rebels, right? So he wasn't really there to actually become a part of the Imperials, but he was there looking for his sister, right? Okay.
He wasn't really spying for the rebels. He was just trying to find his sister, man.
Okay. All right. Well, I've been hearing different stories. I think he, that was his the excuse he was using to be a part of the Imperial, so he can get inside, so he could find his sister. So I think, he actually explained to the Imperials that he wanted to join because he loved the Empire, but in fact, he was working behind the scenes with the rebels. But I know that the book you read it, a while back. It was a long time ago. Okay, all right, and then Gideon. So Gideon comes to this meeting, and he has some demands. There's some things that he's looking for.
Give me my Praetorian guards and TIE bombers.
Right. First of all, he tells the group, the council, that the Mandalorians are reforming, and he knows that they're planning to take Mandalore back. Okay, and he considers the Mandalorians a threat. Gideon wants something done. He wants to, he requested bombers, interceptors, and 3 Praetorian guards. I don't know why 3, but something about the number 3. He asked.
3 is a magic number.
He requested 3 for some reason. So
he could have an entourage, right?
Put a pin in that. Of course, we're going to talk about these guards towards the end. All right. So that is the Shadow Council, right? Very interesting. Now I forgot to write it down, but there was a project that Hux.
Necromancer.
Okay, we don't know what that means.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Necromancer. No. Yeah. So that's very interesting. That's something we'll look into maybe for next week. We'll get some more information on what that could be. And then, by the way, so again, Brendol Hux is actually the father of Armitage Hux, who was played by Domhnall Gleeson in The Force Awakens. All right, so he was one of the
funny thing,
the generals
his
in the First
father
Order.
Is his brother.
Yes, that's right. So the character
canonically, of course, they're father and son, but in real life, Domhnall Gleeson's brother was playing Brendol Hux.
Yeah, and that makes sense because when you look at them, you see this person. Yeah, his brother's Hux. Right. This actor, well, the actor's name is Brian Gleeson, so like you said, he's the brother of Domhnall Gleeson. They look alike, and I said, wow, that's pretty good that they found someone to look like Domhnall Gleeson, and we know that they're related. Yeah, okay, all right, very good. All right, so if we can move on to the next storyline, we'll talk about how Bo-Katan gave up the Darksaber to Moff Gideon. All right.
Also, there's a section where we talk about how Gideon got the Darksaber.
Exactly. Right.
So, Dad, how did Gideon get the Darksaber?
Well, that was a question that we've been asking ourselves for a good long time. We had no idea how he got the Darksaber. Bo finally told the story about what happened, and had to do with a Night of 1,000 Tears. Right. We've talked about this before. This is when right when the Empire was forming, the Emperor wanted Mandalore to become a part of the Empire. He wanted them to play a role in his ruling. And the people of Mandalore said, no, we don't want to be a part of the Empire. And the Emperor took his revenge on them and destroyed their planet. Yeah. And destroyed. You're going to say something?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I said,
yes,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Destroyed their planet, destroyed many lives of Mandalorians. So, what was Bo going to do? So it turns out that, after this Night of 1,000 Tears happened, the ISB stepped in, right? The Information Security Bureau stepped in and wanted Bo to negotiate with the Empire, all right, Moff Gideon. And in turn, if, they can agree.
Mandalorian lives would be spared.
Right. If they can agree on Bo surrendering to the Empire. And I wrote down exactly what she said. So let me just say that because it's better than me trying to remember what she said. So the ISB reached out to Bo to negotiate a ceasefire. In exchange for submitting to the Empire and disarming, all remaining cities and Mandalorian lives would be spared. All right. So that's why Bo handed Gideon the Darksaber. And that's exactly how Gideon received it.
All right. Put a pin in that. Yep. Q&A.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, so of course Gideon betrayed her, and the Great Purge continued on.
Yep.
All right. So let's go to Q&A. All right.
Some nerd. Hello, everyone.
Hello, some nerd.
Hello there.
Yes.
For the Shadow Council, Captain, how am I supposed to say this?
Pellaeon
was the captain that served under Thrawn and Star Wars Rebels in the EU.
That is correct.
Yeah, we just said that in Heir to the Empire.
That's correct. Yeah, that's exactly true. Yeah, he did. He was a right-hand man. Lisa Washington. Hello, Lisa. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Alex, great questions. Thought it was a great episode. Best episode of the season. Well, you haven't seen the finale yet.
Well, that's true, right? We still got one more episode left. But for now, let me know what you think about this episode. Anything that one of your favorite moments in the episode. Talk about where you think it's going for chapter 24. Let's talk about it. That's what we're here for.
The finale hasn't been released yet.
Yeah, the episode is so good. He is gone. Can't wait for the next episode. Yeah, we can't wait either. Yeah, so we can.
Rip Paz Vizsla.
Yes, rest in peace. Yes, exactly. All right, so we're going to talk about that. So,
are there any more comments?
Yeah, so that's how we know. That's how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber. All right, so that we got one of our multiple questions that we have. We have that one answered. Okay. All right, so let's move on to Paz Vizsla. All right. So the plan for, like I said, for the Mandalorians, the group, they're all coming together. Yes, they don't get along with each other, but they're doing the best they can. But their goal is to go back to Mandalore and reclaim their land. So what they did, many of them were traveled to the planet to find the great the Great Forge. Right, there is this very sacred area, a part of the planet that they were looking for, and they went to the Great Forge, and they fell into a trap. All of a sudden, we see these Imperial officers with Beskar armor coming after them, and then there's a shootout. You got the pew 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 coming.
Yep. Bow bow bow.
Yeah, and
Mandalorians are going down everywhere.
What was interesting was when we're watching the battle between the Imperial troopers and the Mandalorians. All of a sudden, as they kept moving, like the location, the layout, the cave started to look more like an Imperial base. It kind of looked like it could have been on the Death Star. Yeah,
and they just straight up kept running through.
Right. Yeah, and we were looking at that too, and I was thinking, wow, why does this look like the Death Star? Like, what's going on here? And then we realized that Gideon has been there all along. So it must have been that right after the purge, he stayed and he rebuilt and created an Imperial base on Mandalore. and in turn was actually using their resources to create an army of soldiers wearing this Beskar alloy.
Yep.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So they get caught. They're trapped. The Mandalorians are trapped. Din Djarin actually was also trapped, but he was captured. So, Gideon found a way to keep the rest of the Mandalorians back and held inside, these steel doors. But Din Djarin was on his own, and they captured him intentionally. So Gideon wants something from Din for some reason, because he says, just take him to the debriefing room, and so what does he want with Din? We'll find out.
So there's rooms there.
Yeah. And then, unfortunately has been separated by Grogu. They're
separated from Grogu.
Right. They're separated
Not
from
by
Grogu.
Grogu.
Yes, separated from Grogu. That's very interesting, So now,
by the way, Grogu is now Grogu 12.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So he has his little
he's got
IG-12 now that he's moving around, he's monitoring, and he's,
so he is Grogu 12.
The only thing, as far as I know, the droid can't fire or defend itself, right? He can only just move the droid around and say yes or no.
Yeah, but he can also pick up. He can pick up things with his hands, and if he can pick up things, he can pick up a blaster and do the, easy gross motor function to just like.
Possibly. Oh, okay. So Grogu can arm himself. That's pretty interesting. Okay.
Or he could just use the Force.
We may see something like that in the next episode. All right. We got some more Q&A. All right. We got Jamela. Jamela, thank you so much. Favorite moment is when Grogu gets his robot. That was interesting. We didn't know where they were going with IG-11. And I thought, like, after the first episode that we were done seeing IG, but
me too. I didn't think he'd come back, but I'm kind of glad he did, because Grogu needed some armor. I mean, he's about to go up against Moff Gideon and a legion of Beskar ally stormtroopers. I mean,
I agree.
Come on, you can't have this boy out here in his cloth robes using the Force. Like, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah. So Grogu has a way to defend himself now. Of course, we know he has the Force, but at least he has some kind of protection around him. Some type of armor, like all the Mandalorians have their armor, right? So why couldn't Grogu have some type of armor?
But you notice, so he's kind of exposed.
True.
Like there's no helmet plate or something. There's nothing that shuts down. Like you remember in the Clone Wars, the Sunny Day in the Void, the Colonel, he had his own space inside the droid that could close. So that, you're not like just right there in the line of fire.
Good point. Yeah, right.
See, these stormtroopers seem to have some aim, actually.
Yeah, they're very good, actually. So they've been trained by the best.
Stormtroopers only have aim when it's necessary to the story.
Speaking of these troopers, these Imperial troopers in this Beskar armor, who do you think they are? Do you think they were,
I think one of them could be Kane, because she did have a stormtrooper coat.
Interesting. Okay. That's a good point. You're right. She did have the TK number. So that for Mandalorian's history is that some of the Mandalorians were loyal to the Empire. So I wonder, after the purge, there might have been some of them who decided to actually join the Empire, and they may be the ones who are in this new armor. Who knows? Okay, just thinking out loud. All right. Okay, so let's finish up. So let's talk about. So this battle that's taking place, and like I said, the Mandalorians are trapped. Grogu is separated from his dad. Din is taken away. He's captured and taken away by Gideon. So what happens next? Well, Bo-Katan is able to cut a hole into the steel using the Darksaber.
Taking her time.
Well, it's steel. All right. So
my God, just what like.
And, in the meantime, to give them some time to escape, Paz Vizsla stays behind and starts firing on the troopers. All right. And then
slams the door.
Right. And then, Bo was able to get all the Mandalorians out, and Paz is the only one left. And, she says, come on, Paz, let's go. And he says, no, we got to take these guys out. And, Bo said, no, I'm not leaving without you. Paz said, this is the way. So Bo is gone. Paz goes into the.
I don't know how much of the way that was.
Yeah, I mean, he's right in the line of fire.
He's got this huge bulky armor. Yeah. He could have ran. No matter how many times they fired at his back, he would have been just fine.
Right, that's true. That's true. And we knew at some point that his weapon was going to run out.
It overheated.
Yeah,
that thing turned fiery.
Yeah, it malfunctioned.
I thought it was going to blow up on him.
Yeah, it malfunctioned, and then all he had left was his own fists, so he started.
And he did good.
He did pretty good. Actually, he was
took
able
out
to
literally all of them.
Pretty much. And then.
Oh, no.
Oh, you Last Jedi fans out there. And then, here it comes.
Few and far between.
Here comes the Praetorian Guards. They just walk out like they own the place.
Because they were around like 2 decades before Snow kind of. Why not?
Yeah, they just walk out like, okay, 3 against 1. This is nothing. And they
Paz
come out.
Vizsla picks up his shield and a knife, and he's like, "Fight me!" And they're like, "We will."
Yeah, and they, Paz was no match for these guards. I mean, I'm telling you, they took care of Paz. He was valiant.
See, I'll tell you what I would have done. The mistake he made was picking up the I think it's called a Viper Blade. Yes. That's the mistake he made. He should have picked up a blaster. Because what he picked up wasn't going to do much good. He could have stood from afar, picked up 2 blasters, and fired on them.
That's a good point, right? Because you had plenty of blasters around.
They were all
the
scattered.
Yeah.
But he went in for close combat, and that was a bad idea. Or if you really wanted to go for the knife, just throw them.
Yeah, you're right.
That would have been much easier.
But Paz was easily...
Because Rey with no training and Kylo with the broken lightsaber managed to take out like 8 of these guys.
True. So, Paz was no match for these.
I mean, him and like full on. Kylo and Rey had robes. I mean, I kid you not. But him in full armor with so many weapons at his disposal. Mm-hmm. He could have thrown blasters at them and won.
Yeah. Something about these guards, I mean, their uniform, and the cape, they're just very, they're just absolutely, you can't take your eyes off of them when they come on the screen.
How do those blades work?
I don't know, but.
Because they don't look like light. They look like they're laced with some sort of energy, but they look like chains. And I'm like, how are you using these to like people? Like, scientifically.
I mean, they look like they're electrical, right? So like maybe they
like an electro whip.
Right, exactly. So like you're getting stabbed with getting shocked. I don't know, like a stun gun or something like that. I mean, it looked painful.
Yeah. Physically, that's not gonna work. That would have left a mark all over his armor.
Well, that's true, and they were able to even penetrate the Beskar.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It wasn't.
Well,
not for him.
Not for Paz, no. But all right, so Paz
Vizsla, that wasn't amazing.
Paz was heroic. I did not expect this to happen to Paz, actually.
Me neither. I kind of thought he would, raise his son.
Yeah,
who's still there.
Now, how about that? What's going to happen to Ragnar?
Who's supposed to take his son?
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
does he have a mother? Where's the mother?
I don't know, but at least he has a clan. He has a clan of brothers and sisters who.
What's the armor going to do? Adopt him?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, we're going to get to Q&A, but I just want to finish up. Paz is gone. And then, once the Praetorian guards are done, they just walk out and say, all right, let's go grab some lunch. Mm-hmm. And they just walk out.
They grab their whip, straighten their robes like they're Will Smith, and they're like,
it's like, I'm hungry. Where you want to go?
Time to go back.
Yeah, McDonald's.
Hey, you wanna go get some galactic space fries?
Yeah,
and some butter cookies.
I know
a good place.
Yeah. It was amazing to see. All right, Q&A. Yes, Q&A.
Who do we have?
All right, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, good to see you. Hello.
Loved how tough the guards were. Delivered on what was promised in the sequel.
Yeah, wonderful. Like I said, I mean, I don't know any Star Wars fan who could have been disappointed with this episode. I just can't see it. So you had to like something.
I could have.
You think there's?
If I were insane.
You're right. Yeah. These. There has. I'm waiting for a fan to come out and say that this is one of the worst episodes ever made
Kid you
of The
not.
Mandalorian.
If somebody on Twitter goes, this is the worst episode of The Mandalorian, prove me wrong, they will be deleting their account within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Kid you not. The entire internet is just going to flame them.
Yeah. I just don't know anything bad you could say.
Even
about
the
this
DC fans are gonna flame them.
The DC fans, right?
Even the prequels fans are gonna flame them.
Yeah,
the sequels fans.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it had a little bit of the prequels. Talking about the cloning. Talking about the Mandalorians. They go back to the prequel days.
And Gideon is all of them because he's got the jet. He's got the lightsaber of a Jedi. He's got the cloning tactics of a cloner, as he said.
Right.
And he's got the Mandalorian over.
And then the reemergence of the Empire. I mean, that's the original trilogy, the Empire, the Galactic Empire. And then you got the guards from the sequel trilogy. I mean, this is awesome. This episode, I'm sure, pleased every Star Wars fan out there. So we're good.
Except for non-Star Wars fans.
Well, they wouldn't know the difference if they're not watching. Yeah. Jamela, I was thinking Paz was going to attempt to get Din, but those Praetorian guards are too much for him. Yeah. It's funny because I had no idea what these guards were going to do. When
I thought they were going to be like his personal entourage on a ship.
Yeah. Are Praetorian guards force sensitive? I get the impression that they're not. I think they're just cunning.
The Knights of Ren channeled the Force.
Yeah, I think
the Praetorian guards are just dudes in armor.
Yeah, they're cunning warriors, whoever they are. They know how to fight. They know how to defend themselves.
Wait, so are those the same Praetorian guards that we see in The Last Jedi?
Well, you mean the exact same guards? I don't know. That's a good. Well, I don't think so because remember that takes place like 30 years in the future. So
20.
it can't. Okay, it can't be the same guards. I mean, I'm sure they have plenty of those.
They could have got somebody 21. They could still be doing this in their 40s.
I don't know. But was it okay? So remind me, in The Last Jedi, how many guards were there fighting?
Pretty sure there was 8.
There were 8 fighting Rey and Kylo. 8. Wow. Okay. All right. So look, there's an army of them. You know what I mean? So First Order saw what they could do and say, hey, we need more of these guys, and then that's what happened.
And yet we never saw them again.
Yeah. Right. I don't know how to feel about Grogu's mech.
Feel happy.
No, I mean, it's interesting. I think there's going to be more to it. Some nerd, there's going to have to be something else that Grogu would need to do in that.
Maybe he's just going to start spinning around with 2 blasters in his hands. Right.
Wee! That's the reason why I asked you. Okay, well, how can he defend himself? Because like you said, I mean, you can see the entire. Grogu is exposed. So what is he going to do to defend himself?
So they're going to have to regroup firstly.
Yeah. Okay.
The Mandalorians have got to regroup because this is not manageable.
Well, after what happened,
they're down Din, they're down Paz.
Yeah. Well,
and that was a major loss. And knowing what they know now, I would have retreated, regrouped, grabbed whatever gear I could get, and came back.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, anytime when one of your own gets captured, what happens next? They're going to go after him. They're going to go find him. They're going to go save him. So I think that's what's going to happen. Dallas, thank you for joining us. Hello to you. I think that's what's going to happen. But you're right. They're going to have to regroup, right? Because they lost Paz and they need to get Din back. They have to come up with a game plan. They absolutely do have to come up with a game plan. All right. Now, a couple of things I want to bring up. One is, what happened to the armorer?
Well, remember, she went up with the sick people.
The sick people, right.
And then she, ferried them back to the ship.
Yeah, understood. I can understand, taking care of the wounded. But, it's just what a coincidence that, they were ambushed and she wasn't there. What am I trying to say? I don't know.
But remember, we saw her go up to the ship.
Well, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, she absolutely did. What I'm trying to get to is,
maybe
you think she may have anything to? Yes. Do you think she had anything to do with this ambush? You think she knew that this was coming, and that's the reason why she was not there?
But then again, Dad.
Yeah.
Why would she have Bo-Katan go through all the trouble to start finding other clans to amass an even bigger force to have a bigger chance of losing the fight, just to betray them in the end?
All right.
Like, I feel like she wouldn't personally have another clan member recruit more clan members for a battle that was rigged for them to lose.
That's a very good point. But let me be the devil's advocate here. Okay. Could it be that she may be working with Gideon, right, to actually eliminate the Mandalorians so that she and Gideon can rule Mandalore?
But Gideon's going to betray her at the end.
Oh, of course. Well, Gideon,
he doesn't care.
Right. Gideon doesn't look like anybody, but maybe that's too far out.
He's just going to bye-bye.
Maybe that's too far out there. Maybe.
If your theory's here.
Yes.
Outer space is all the way over
so
here.
Not even close, right? So you don't think the armor had nothing to do with this ambush? It was just a coincidence that she was not there, and she was actually the one who volunteered to take the sick and the wounded back. I just, she's the armor. She's a leader. Why wouldn't she get one?
By trade, she's supposed to give people armor.
Okay.
I mean, she's the leader of the clan, but she's fought once.
Well,
twice.
So as the leader,
3 times. Remember when she started clanging heads in the second season?
Yeah, I remember that.
I do. First season.
I do. Well, as a leader,
and when she started clanging heads at the 3rd or 4th episode?
Yeah, she did. Right. Deployed, she took out that. Heads. She took out that Trandoshan, right, at the tower.
And what was the other time she started clanging heads?
I mean, we know she can defend herself, so I'm just.
Wondering. During the fight with the crocodile.
Yes, true. Right.
But really, all she did was grab somebody and run back to shore. Nope, that's too wet.
As a leader, you think that you would want to be with your people to lead them, to help them make the right decisions.
Remember, she's basically given all control of the clan to Bo-Katan.
I understand that, but I thought maybe she would have done more for the clan. That's all. Okay. All right. We have more Q&A coming up. Some nerd. The weapons remind of the staffs Grievous guards had. I think.
Electro staffs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. They do. Ken Bishop. Hello, Ken. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Remember this name. Did either of you count how many Mandalorians were on screen? It was a lot of Mandalorians.
Didn't that icon used to be purple, or am I wrong?
What icon are you referring to?
The K.
I don't know. But I think this is a very good question that Ken was asking. How many Mandalorians do you think were on that screen? It was amazing. Every time you see the Mandalorians, you just see a new
67.
Face. You just see a new face. Just wow. There was a lot of them. And
probably 67.
Yeah. Alex, this is the worst episode ever, said no one ever.
Are we counting Grogu as a man? Well, he's a foundling.
Yeah. Michelle. I got to see this episode in London. Oh, congratulations. So you're in London. Definitely one of my favorite episodes. So if you can, Michelle, tell us about the atmosphere when the people saw, especially, how did they react? I'm sure they were excited, they were jubilated, but how did they react when they saw that? That's a word, isn't it? Jubilated. Not jubilated?
Jubilated sounds like something you get after you have too much tea. You get jubilated.
Yeah, too much caffeine.
Oh my gosh, I had too much Earl Grey. I'm jubilated. Right?
Yes.
I'm so jubilated.
The jubilation in the air.
Jubilant.
There was joy, I'm sure, right?
Cherry's Jubilee, except don't flame them like they did on Frasier.
Yes,
don't blow them up in a big blue flash.
What were the people's reaction when the Praetorian Guards?
How jubilationist were they?
How jubilation was it? Thank you. Okay.
The grammar theorists, y'all.
Jamela, I love the first shot of the Mando light cruiser pulling up on Navarro. Right. I thought they were going to be invaded. Call back to the opening of the original Star Wars. Good point. Yeah. I was like, what? I was thinking, well, wait a minute. How did the Empire get there so quickly? Do you think the Mandalorians is a spy turncoat from our Which one? Okay, do you think one of the men? Yeah, I think it's the armor.
Honestly, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think Gideon would need that because he's already got Kane and she has access to all of those New Republic documents.
Yeah.
So she could pick anything from the archive. She could pick anything from the past, the present, and what's going to happen in the future. Yeah. So she has access to all of that. I don't know why he'd need another spy.
Well, I mean, okay, so I know it's a long shot that it's the armorer, but we know, as we said earlier, that there are some Mandalorians that were loyal to the Empire, and I think there still are. And those are the ones.
Shouldn't have been. Remember in Rebels when the Empire just started randomly vaporizing Mandalorians? That was fun.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, right? But again, there was a time when the Mandalorians and the Empire worked together, right? I think there are still Mandalorians out there that are still loyal to the Empire. So those are the betrayers, or those are the ones that are working with Gideon. All right, the armor is shady. Yes, as Star Wars Explained said, and as Curran hinted, it is suspicious she left right before the ambush started. It is suspicious, isn't it, Alex? It's like I said. I mean, as a leader, you don't leave your people behind, unless you're wounded, and she was clearly fine. I can understand her taking care of the wounded, but she could have given that job to any other.
She did the same on the ship, though. Remember?
I'm sorry.
She did the same on the ship. Remember when she was helping to bandage up that dude who got kind of banged up.
Okay. Again, I don't think she needs to do that. She could have given that job to somebody else. I think she should be with her people, even though, we know that Bo is the leader of the Mandalorians, and she should be standing right by the leader, side by side.
Isn't that Mando's job?
Yeah. Okay, King. All right. You don't want the armor. What would happen if it was the armor who betrayed the Mandalorians?
Oh, it'd be a revolt.
By you or who? I mean, would you
by the Mandalorians.
Would you? Well, no, I'm talking about you personally, because you don't think the armor is betraying.
I wouldn't be necessarily surprised.
Okay, all right then. All right, so
I just don't think it's likely.
Okay, understood. Yeah, it does seem
surprising, but not criminal.
Right, exactly right. It is unlikely, but it's suspicious, right? That she was not there, but not criminal. Not criminal, not yet. Edward Skywalker, Grogu's probably going to be the main character in the next episode because Din was captured, and the first person to want him back is clearly Grogu. Interesting. The main character. So. Yeah. So
Grogu, mostly he was kind of a side prop.
True.
Like,
yeah,
Grogu
they're not giving Grogu
because
much
the original
to do.
thing is Grogu was originally still supposed to be off with Luke for training.
Yes, that's
true. And personally, I love seeing Grogu earlier, but I think we also could have waited.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about that. Yeah, we don't know why they were brought back sooner than later, but
because now Grogu's like the cash cow of Star Wars. Everyone loves Grogu, Dad.
Understood. But now they're separated again. So what is Grogu going to do? That might
Grogu's gonna grab two blasters and spin around.
You never know. I mean, I'm sure he's very upset right now that his dad's been taken away. So we'll find out. Michelle, will we see Boba and other friends of Mando in the next episode to rescue Din?
I don't know. We might.
I never thought of that, but that is possible.
Wouldn't it be great if Bo called in reinforcements? Because she knows where Boba Fett is. She knows he exists.
You brought up a good point. I was about to say that because I know their relationship the last time the two of them were on screen, although they did work together fine, but they were
snippy.
They were snippy, right? Yes, exactly. Yeah, they were.
But again, I think Bo would be willing to go to him because,
Right, because
Mando just pledged loyalty to her, and all of a sudden he just got ripped away. So
that's not a bad idea to actually get Boba involved, because remember when Boba found out that Gideon took Grogu, I mean, he was, ready to go back and try to save that little guy, So if he heard that Din is captured, so he might.
It'd be a great scene.
Jump on
like the opening scene, Bo-Katan at Boba's palace. Like, can you help us out here? Can you help us bring Mando back? And he's like, no, I'm busy running Tatooine. And then Grogu shows up off the side, and Boba Fett's like, and that's just the first scene.
All right, you never know. That's
Titles.
That's right. We'll hear the Boba Fett theme, huh? Fett. All right. Edward Skywalker. The armor is actually
That was unexpected.
Yes. The armor is actually a very unknown character. She could be with Moff and betray Mando,
but not criminal.
We don't know that yet. She could be criminal. I mean, maybe that's a conspiracy, but again, why was she not there? You know, why did she take off right before they got ambushed? You know, Jamila.
But then again, Dad.
Yes.
Remember, she would have had no idea the Imperials were there because
she
had never been to the mines of Mandalore. She kept preaching, "Oh, it's gone. It's been destroyed."
Now, don't even get me started on the mines of Mandalore. Now, remember when I said when Bo-Katan confessed to the armorer that she saw the mythosaur, the armorer had no reaction, as if she already knew the mythosaur was there.
Like when they told Eddie Munson about 11's powers in season 4. Like,
okay, I haven't seen season 4. Like, thank you for the spoiler. Yeah.
How's that a spoiler?
Well, I don't know. You told me something about season 4 of Stranger Things, and I have not seen Stranger Things
but it's not really crucial to the plot.
Okay. But I find it coincidental.
Anyway, my point is,
yes,
no reaction.
Yeah, right. I just found it very strange that when Bo says, "I saw the mythosaur." Oh, this is the way. Like, what kind of reaction is that?
Wait, Dad. That's like you telling me you saw the butter cookie god.
And then I had no reaction, right? Because
say that to me. Say that to me. I dare you.
That I seen the butter cookie god?
Yes.
Keith, I've seen the butter cookie god.
No reaction.
Right. When you have a reaction, like where? Who is he? What does he look like?
Where's the butter cookie god? Yeah. Is he benevolent?
Yeah.
Does he give butter cookies? Where are my cookies?
Do we get an unlimited number of butter cookies?
I had butter cookies for breakfast this morning.
Okay. Yeah, sure did.
I had butter cookies for lunch.
Bring up the Q&A and then we'll just go through them. Yeah. All right. So Michelle, Boba and Fennec.
Butter cookies.
Boba and Fennec coming back to rescue Mando would be awesome.
Every question is butter cookies now.
All right. Well, let's stay on target. Luke and Ahsoka.
Stay on target.
Luke and Ahsoka can also help rescue in the new Ahsoka series coming. It would be cool to see Ahsoka fight again. Edward Skywalker.
Does Bo know about Ahsoka?
Good question.
I'm assuming Mando would have told her.
Good question.
I'm pretty sure Mando would want to tell her about some space lady who helped to train his son.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, look. All right. So Alex, laugh out loud. I think it's possible that the armor might be working with Moff Gideon to get rid of rivals. But I wonder if Thrawn is involved too, and he'll undermine both Gideon and the Mandalorians. Funny you should mention that, Alex. That was going to be my second point. But, I want to talk about Moff Gideon and Grand Admiral Thrawn. But let's keep going through the comments. Jamala, I don't believe the armor is shady. I think she's Bo-Katan, Merlin's priest figure. Okay. I think helping the wounded was very noble and compassionate considering Mandalorian culture. Understood. It is a very noble thing. It is noble. Science Fictionary, what's up, y'all? Thank you for joining us. Thank you. All right. Edward, the armor is the most trustworthy person, but that also makes her a perfect person to betray them.
Nobody would suspect it.
I would not be surprised, just like you said, even if she was the one that betrays the Mandalorians, I don't think anyone would be surprised. I think they'd be disappointed, but not surprised. Nobody. Yeah. Okay. Crazy atmosphere. One of the biggest cheers was when Pellaeon showed up in the Shadow Council.
Now, when Hux showed up, I had no idea who this man was until like 5 minutes ago.
That's very interesting, Michelle, because Pellaeon is not considered a well-known character, but I guess when he showed up on screen or his name appeared on the screen, that people knew exactly who he was. Because they know, okay, so he's a character in the Heir to the Empire book, so they know that that's just leading up to Thrawn. So that was very interesting. Wow. Pellaeon got a cheer. Laugh out loud. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary says that jubilate.
Add a bit more wine to the cherries, jubilee.
Jubilated, I thought was a word, Alex. Thank you very much for clarifying.
It's not.
Jubilated.
Merriam-Webster is Merriam-Webster wrong.
I think Dave, John, and the rest of the crew are doing Dave, John, and the rest of the crew are doing a great job this season, keeping us guessing. Well, who do you think we'll see in the last episode of the season? I'll tell you. Let's talk about it. Are you ready to talk about it?
I feel jubilated. Let's go.
We'll keep going through the comments as they come up. So we'll talk about it. I want to talk. Okay. Yeah, I want to talk about what's going to happen in the season finale.
What do you think?
Here's what I think is going to happen.
Oh, boy.
Moff Gideon, he ain't going to make it. He is not going to make it. And you know why? Because he set himself up. When he walked into that Shadow Council and he started bad-mouthing Thrawn, well, where is he? You talking about Thrawn?
And
he's not here.
And credit scene. Thrawn walks in, shoots him out, ba-boom.
End of the episode, right? Thrawn's going to come in. We're going to see Thrawn in episode 8 next week. I think Thrawn's going to make an appearance, which makes sense because we now know Lars Mikkelsen is coming back as Thrawn. So that's been revealed.
Seems like a very selective piece of information to give us now.
Exactly right. So they're preparing us for the emergence of Thrawn, and it's going to come next week in the last episode. And Thrawn is going to take Gideon out. I said it. Because there's no way Gideon and Thrawn are going to work together. Gideon is just
he's so powerful.
He's too much into himself.
He's so powerful and brash.
He's not going to
listen to Thrawn. He's not going to gel well with Thrawn.
No.
And Thrawn is going to have to show him who's boss.
Exactly. And that's what's going to happen. Gideon is not going to make it out of episode 8. Mark my words.
Season 4 arc. Gideon manages to crawl away from Thrawn, joins the Mandalorians, and betrays them in the end just to get the Darksaber back.
Yeah, I think, so Gideon's not going to make it. If there is going to be a mole inside the Mandalorians, we're going to find out who that mole is, and the appearance of Thrawn. Thrawn's going to show up in episode 8. That's what I'm. Do you have any guesses or ideas of what could happen?
No.
So you do think that Boba is possible? Boba can show up?
But
is it possible that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Gideon didn't seem to know that the Mandalorians were banding together when Kane told him at the beginning. I think if the armor were his spy, he'd have known. Okay.
Oh, that's a good point because he's like, that can't be. They're sworn enemies. So you're right. He would have been like, I already know. I got spies.
Well, now, would he play his hand like that? I mean, would he want?
But he wouldn't say directly as spies. But he'd be like, I've heard rumors. He literally had no problem telling the entire Shadow Council that he has his ear to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Look, Gideon's a smart man. I mean, he's not going to tell you everything that he's
one of those people. He's one of those people who plays poker with a straight face and keeps their cards close to their chest.
Sure does. Yeah. He cannot be trusted. We know that already. Aiden, this is the best way to EAP.
Eep.
I don't know what EAP means. Alex, did the butter cookie god have Morgan Freeman's voice?
No, the chocolate god is Morgan Freeman's voice.
Okay.
The butter cookie god is Chris Pratt's voice.
Chris Pratt? Okay.
I don't know, man. That's what he.
That was the first name that came to your mind, Chris Pratt.
The Mario movie.
Oh, okay. All right. That's cool. This is the best episode ever. I think it's going to start with this. This is the way Tech is gone. Yeah, Tech is gone. Yeah.
Oh, please don't rehash.
Yeah, Tech is gone. Yeah.
I slammed that book shut and threw it across the room. Please don't open it.
Bo worked with Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. That's true. Yes, and she's the one who told Din where to find Ahsoka when he was looking for a job. Yes, you're right. So very good point, Michelle. So that answers our question. So Bo knows that Ahsoka is still around. Yeah.
Oh.
Science.
So then again, they're going to do something similar to what they did in the Book of Boba Fett and call all hands on deck.
That's what I wanted to say. I don't know if they necessarily need all hands on deck.
I think they just need Boba.
Well,
but then again, Boba and Fennec are like an unstoppable duo.
Yeah. But did you see how many Mandalorians they have? I mean, I think they have enough to take on Gideon and his army.
I'll tell you
That's a lot of Mandalorians out there.
Ahsoka would turn the tides. and Luke. Because you think about it, he knows who Gideon is.
You're bringing Luke
He's
into
already
this.
fought Dark Troopers.
Wow.
He didn't have no problem in taking down some Beskar troopers.
We didn't think about
So
Luke.
we saw Luke and Ahsoka team up with the Mandalorians because they need the firepower.
Wow.
I'll tell you one thing. Their blasters, Paz Vizsla was one of the few Mandalorians with a weapon that would be able to pierce the Beskar armor. Him and Bo are the only people who would have enough force to straight up to straight up tank one of those Beskar troopers or Gideon himself.
Interesting.
But Luke and Ahsoka's lightsabers can cut straight through that Beskar. Now, I know Luke swore the oath or whatever he did, and Ahsoka probably did too, but they can at least slice up the armor and let the Mandalorians do the rest.
I like that. Bringing Luke and Ahsoka back. I forgot about Luke. What do you think?
Because you think about it,
Yeah.
Boba Fett and Fennec Shan is just kind of adding more to the crowd.
True, right.
I
but
think
if you
it's still
had
possible.
two Jedi.
But like Luke and Ahsoka, their characters stand out.
Yeah.
More because they have different abilities. It's like think about the best stats in a game. If you're going to add two characters who have relatively the same abilities as everyone else, or you can add two outstanding characters who have better abilities and combo moves that can therefore help them win the battle.
Right, they would give them the edge. Wow.
So from Bo's standpoint, I'd be like, let's get as many lightsabers in here as we can.
But you know, a problem that, might happen, with fans, that, okay, well, we saw Luke save the day in episode 8, season 2. So you're going to bring Luke back to save the day again in season 3? I don't know. Maybe that may not be possible.
I didn't think of
Although
that.
I would love it.
I don't really care.
Yeah,
I would absolutely love it.
No, I would love the idea.
If anyone's mad about that,
yeah,
take it up with Twitter.
Okay. Science fictionary. There is definitely a spy among the Mandalorians. The armor is a prime candidate.
Suspect number 1.
Sus. Thank you, Jamal. Great show. Thank you so much for joining us too. Thank you. Michelle, I think Thrawn will kill Gideon. Yes, I did. Yeah, me too. But not until the movie. Wow. Okay, so people who haven't followed the character in books and Rebels,
it's a movie.
I'll show them just bad. It'll show them how bad and tough he is.
It's a movie.
Well, no. So what Michelle is saying. So that they announced that Dave Filoni is going to be directing his own film. So
I know about the time of the Mandalorian.
Well, right. So we're thinking that maybe he's going to do like an Avengers type movie where he's going to bring all these characters together in one movie, like bringing Ahsoka and Din Djarin and Bo-Katan and then Thrawn and then Gideon. So Michelle's thinking that Gideon is going to last until the movie.
I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't think. No, Gideon is not going to last because he's too selfish.
Chris Pratt is possible as the butter cookie voice. He is Star-Lord.
There you go.
Keith makes superb points.
Yeah.
Thank you. I could see Luke and Ahsoka coming back. That would be so cool. And they probably wouldn't come until the last moment. And credit scene. Luke and Ahsoka, we hear 3 lightsabers igniting. We see the green and the gray in the clouds, in like a cloud of smoke. Ba-boom! It's over. So,
I'm there for that.
Or that could be the beginning. We see the lightsabers coming out of the smoke, and then they raise. Ba-boom!
Anybody thinking where Grogu was during the First Order and the sequels? Don't know you. I have not.
He was probably hiding. Ba-boom!
You know what? That's very interesting that you brought that up because I think wherever he is, he's surviving. He's thriving. Yeah. He's probably one of the.
Star Wars would not kill off Grogu. I think what's going to happen is he's going to join Rey's new.
I was just about to say that.
Covert of Jedi.
I was just about to say that. I would not be surprised to see Grogu show up in the Rey movie. Why not? Why not? Dallas, what about the Mythosaur? Will he or she appear again? There's always been talk about Bo riding the Mythosaur.
But isn't the Mythosaur in the water?
How would you get?
How's she supposed to take it out the water?
That's a good
transport
point.
It all the way to wherever this fight is, just so that she can ride it for a trailer shot.
Well, not only that, but maybe she could use the Mythosaur as a way to defeat Gideon and his army.
I know, but I'm like, it's just
but
too much
that's a very
work.
good point. And you know what? I'm sure.
And that thing's huge. It's not going to fit in any ship unless you tie it to the back like a Christmas tree and jump through hyperspace with a big mythosaur hanging on your front windshield.
Well,
so all you can see is its hoof.
Okay, well, it's no bigger than a.
Makes for great piloting.
It's no bigger than a Purgle, right? We can see a Purgle.
Yeah, those Purgle are bigger than an N1 starfighter. And they're heavier for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you're supposed to tie those to one of your
I hear what
you're saying.
No,
and hope it floats.
No, that's not. No, you're not going to tie a Purgle to a ship, right? I got you. And a mythosaur can't fly through space, so I see your point.
Like the Purgle, they can help out at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
They can jump to hyperspace, and then you can tear your engine on and help them. But like the mythosaur just could be like a big hoof on your windshield.
You're right.
Both of them. You just can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And just this constant thudding as the mythosaur shifts in hyperspace. You're just going to be like...
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Maybe we'll see the mythosaur in the last episode. I don't know, but you're right. How would you get it out of the waters of Mandalore? I don't know. Good point. All right. Okay.
Oh look, Aiden.
This is the way.
This is the way he is going to die.
Yeah. Are you referring to Gideon? Yeah. I don't know if he's going to make it out, but we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all.
Okay. All right. Wow. This was a fun episode.
It's been an hour, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was much to discuss. I mean, a lot going on in this episode. So again, I'm sure. Look, you have fans out there saying Star Wars is buried.
Excuse me.
It's not coming back.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's not.
Excuse
happening.
me.
Oh, here comes that English accent.
Excuse me.
It's coming. All right.
That was my Karen. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have so many accents.
Yes. Okay, all right.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, we had a question here. Will a mythosaur eat Gideon?
Absolutely not.
No. Thrawn's going to take care of Gideon.
That's way too Jurassic Park for Star Wars.
Well, good point. Yeah.
And also, that means Gideon's going to have to travel all the way to the mines.
You know what? This voice that you're coming up with, you should have a name for this character that you're performing. It can't be Keith, right? Keith is an American. So who is this person?
Of course, my alter is an American. I mean, I'm American, but gotta come up with a name. You got any good British names? Because I got nothing.
I don't know. Idris.
Stringer Bell.
Stringer Bell. Hint, wink, wink. Okay, I got that. Stringer Bell. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Am I like the bellboy or something?
No,
am I the bellhop at a restaurant?
I'll explain too after we leave. All right.
Why don't you tell me now?
This has been fun.
Why don't you tell me now?
We cannot wait until next week. Gotta go. Good night. Great show, guys. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Wonderful. We're gonna wrap it up now.
Let's wrap up the show.
What do we do after the season finale next week?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we've got the
Visions, Young Jedi Adventures, hopefully another Ahsoka trailer.
Yes. Well, right. So, there's
the Marvels. We got Guardians coming May 5th.
Yeah, right. If you're a Marvel fan, you still got some Marvel material coming out. Visions, I think that's going to be the talk of the town when that drops, 9 episodes. So, and then, if you're into animated shows, we got the Young Jedi Adventures. So, we're going to be watching and reviewing all of that. So, it's not over, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Keith, thank you
I am not going to drop my theory, by the way, about Visions 2 being mostly focused on the dark side.
No, we've already talked about that, so there's no need.
I'm not going to drop the theory, though.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Keith, where can people find us?
You know where to find us if you'd like to listen to us. We're wherever you get your podcasts. Socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fathers of Galaxy. Website, fathersofgalaxy.com. Our merch store is fathersandgalaxy.myspreadshop.com, and our Patreon page is patreon.com/fathersandgalaxy.
Right, and remember we have a new Patreon.
Check out our YouTube community page for weekly updates.
Okay, and remember we updated our Patreon page, right?
Yes. So we have revamped all of the tiers.
Yeah, two
everything
levels.
is brand new for you guys.
Yeah.
So we have a $3 tier and our $5 tier with lots of benefits.
Yeah.
Our $3 tier will give you the benefit of a patron-only community and patron-only updates. And for the $5 tier, you will get all of that plus monthly Q&A videos where we'll answer any of your questions related to Star Wars or Marvel or butter cookies.
Excellent. All right. Excellent. All right. And we're on the social, so it won't be very difficult to find us. So thank you once again for joining us. We cannot wait for the season finale of The Mandalorian. Boy. Aiden, this is the way. See you next week for the next episode of the show. Absolutely. We will be back. Thank you, Dallas. Okay, so we will hang out more. Yes,
definitely.
We will.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
Just because Paz Vizsla became one with the sand doesn't mean our channel will be.
That's right. Some nerd. Have a good night, everyone. Good night to you. We'll see you next week.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Oh, we're going to need it after seeing
and may the British
accent
finale be with you.
All right. So until next time, everybody, take care. And we will see you again.
And let's hope the writers don't give us another emotional heartstring pull and kill off one of the other main characters.